I've eaten absolutely zero carbohydrates for over a year now, and it has been one of the best experiences of my entire life. My name is Keagan, and because I ditched the carbs, I've been able to build muscle, lose fat, and feel like a superhero throughout the entire process of both of those things. It's really crazy. I feel absolutely amazing. And in this video, I just want to share with you kind of the reasons that compelled me to give this a shot of ditching the carbs and really focusing on more of a ketogenic carnivore diet approach. I'm going to give you the 3 reasons that really compelled me personally to give it a shot and really experience all the benefits. And kind of the sub one, this bonus one immediately is I tried it and I just felt amazing. So I just stuck to it. That's kind of the first one. But I'm going to give you today the 3 reasons that kind of compelled me to give it a shot in the first place, which maybe you can try it as well, and then you'll see the benefits, same as me. So, to clarify, I eat a ketogenic carnivore diet, meaning I only eat meat and eggs, okay? Nothing else. So, 0 plants, 0 carbohydrates, none of that stuff. I don't eat spices, I don't have like berries or fruits or anything like that. I eat a lot of meat. I try and focus on red meat, and I eat a lot of eggs. And I don't really have any dairy. Maybe some cheese now and again, but really not a lot of that stuff. I eat meat and eggs. And these are the 3 reasons that really convinced me. Number 1, we are evolutionarily and biologically designed to not only eat meat, but really to only eat meat. And so let me explain this. If you think back, back to the ice ages, just in general, what do you think we were eating back then? We weren't fucking eating plants. Like, it's just a simple logical exercise. People were going up into the ice sheets, like our species, the multiple species of humans back then, were going up into the ice sheets whenever the ice age was first starting. What were we eating then? Okay? What plants are there in the fucking ice? Zilch. Nothing. Essentially, no plants that we could probably eat as humans. Maybe the megafauna could like dig them out of the ice and shit like that, but those are some pretty badass plants that we probably can't consume anyways. And I'll get to why we probably shouldn't be eating plants in the kind of the second reason as well. But just think, like, throughout our entire history as humans, up until recently, we've been really focused on a more hunter-gatherer lifestyle, really more hunters. And that's why we as humans spread across the entire planet. It's because we were following the megafauna. And that's why, especially if you look at somewhere like Australia, the megafauna, that they dated it to where basically megafauna are on, say, Australia. Humans arrive almost immediately after the megafauna go extinct. Why? Because we were hyper carnivores. We were hunting this stuff basically to extinction, or literally to extinction, because we were eating the meat. And that's basically all we needed. I mean, think about it. If you have a humongous mammoth that can feed your entire tribe for a year, are you really going to go looking around for some fucking plants to chew on? Whenever, especially back then, the plants that we eat nowadays didn't fucking exist. Like, if you take a look, I might pull this up in editing. There's just compare a modern banana to a old kind of old-fashioned banana. Completely different. Way starchier in the old version. The current version is just like there's no seeds. It's way more sugary. It's completely different. Like, the plants that we eat nowadays that are considered safe didn't fucking exist back then. And so who's to say that they are meant for human consumption? Because here's something that I've learned about kind of biology and evolution. The type of food that a species is adapted to, that is best suited for that species, is the one that it has been kind of exposed to the longest. So if you think about something like a koala has been exposed to eucalyptus for many, many generations, okay? And we have not had that same exposure to to these modern day fruits like apples and bananas. And yes, they're kind of those old ancient versions, but are you really going to eat one of those tiny, like weird old bananas that are super starchy and filled with seeds? Really? It's just not appealing, especially if you think back to those times whenever you could either go looking for that stuff, like those weird, like super small fruits that aren't really appealing, or you could just go hunt a fucking mammoth, right? Here's the baseline. We've been exposed to meat for millions of years, like basically like 2 million years as a species. We have had the most time to adapt to that sort of diet. Because we've gotten smarter, we've been able to get access to more animal nutrition. And that's not only what allowed us to stay alive, but also to actually like evolve and grow and adapt. You know, some people will say, "Oh, but we don't have the adaptations of carnivores, but you know, like we don't have the claws or the teeth." Like, like we actually do have some teeth, like the canines and stuff. And I kind of get that argument. Okay, we don't have the claws, right? But if you think, just think. Oh wait, you can actually think because you have a fucking brain, right? Our brain is the thing that allowed us to hunt these animals, okay? It's not because we were bigger or stronger, or we had sharper claws, or we were faster. It's because we had fucking brains. And our brains grew and grew and grew. And here's a fun fact. Up until about 10,000 years ago, whenever the agricultural revolution first began, our brains were growing on basically like an exponential scale. It was going up and up and up. But it stopped at the agricultural revolution. The reason why agriculture spread isn't because it's an inherently superior system and that plants are great for us. They're not. They're like, you can see it in the fossil record. You can see it in just how people develop. Our jawlines are weaker. Our bones are smaller. We are shorter as a species because we are less healthy, because we aren't giving ourselves the nutrition that we've had for generations. Now, I'm glad that we do have agriculture in a way because it has allowed us to innovate and have surplus and grow. But that doesn't mean that it's what's best for your health. And so I think the best way to really experience this is just to give it a try for yourself. Because if this is truly, like what I'm suggesting, the carnivore diet, if it truly is the species appropriate diet for us, eating a lot of meat and very, very little plants, if any at all, if it is the species appropriate diet, give it a shot for 30 days and do it right. Okay, I've made a course for this, doing like step-by-step autistic details on how you can do the carnivore diet for your first 30 days. Try it out, see the real benefits, and avoid the same pitfalls that I experienced personally. So you can actually see the benefits within those first 30 days and really understand that if this is the right play, which I really believe that it is, especially if you go about it the right way. Like a lot of people, whenever they're first starting on the diet, they have some misconceptions about it, or maybe they just aren't doing it right, and then they quit and they say, "Oh, you know, carnivore sucked. It wasn't for me. Oh, it wasn't bad." It's just because they weren't necessarily doing it in the correct manner that they should have been. And so, in my course, I promise you, I'm breaking it down like step by step, autistically, so you can avoid the same mistakes that I made. But yeah, that was kind of a little bit of a plug, but really give it a shot. Try it out. 30 days. Give it a shot. You don't have to do it forever. Give it a shot. And I can tell you that once you go back, you're going to feel way different. Because I remember the first time that I ate plants again after a long time of not eating them, and my body was like, "What the fuck are you doing? You were finally eating normally. You're finally eating like a human should be. And now you're eating this crap again." And it made me feel absolutely terrible. Like every single time that I have a plant or a spice, I just feel whack. I just feel absolutely whack. Here's the second reason, and this was also another compelling reason that convinced me. Meat and eggs have all of the essential nutrients that you could possibly want, especially stuff like red meat has all of the essential nutrients. It has all the essential amino acids, the essential fatty acids, and it's all the essential vitamins and minerals in the proportions that you need them. Okay, I just want to address, like, you don't need that much vitamin C if you don't eat carbs. And the amount of minerals you need changes because you aren't eating carbs and you aren't eating plants. And I'll get to that in just a sec. Actually, I'm going to address that right now. Whenever you are eating stuff like plants have chemical and, well, they also have physical defenses, but all plants have chemical defenses as well. Like, you can imagine kind of like the spikes on, what is it, like a lotus tree or something? Locust tree? But some tree, let's just basically, like, some trees have stuff like spikes, or they have like really hard bark, or maybe they're really, really tall, or they're really, really big, right? Like, some of them have physical defenses, but they also have chemical defenses, meaning that if you like break into them or you try eating them or whatever, they are going to attack you kind of on a more molecular chemical way. Like, they have poisons. They literally have poisons, and they also have things called anti-nutrients in them. And this is what I mean by you need a different amount of nutrients whenever you're eating plants. If you're eating stuff like spinach, for example, which has oxalates, oxalates bind to stuff like magnesium and calcium in your digestive tract, in your body if they get into your bloodstream, and they take it, they bind to it. Oxalates specifically form this kind of like crystalline thing with, say, calcium, and then you really can't break this apart, so it just floats around, and you have to excrete it out of your body. And especially in the case of oxalates, you can get stuff like kidney stones. Like 80% of kidney stones are calcium oxalate kidney stones. And that's because if you eat enough oxalate through, spinach, because you're trying to get in your calcium, because spinach apparently has calcium in it, you're trying to get your iron in, whatever, or your magnesium, you're trying to eat these things, but you're getting a crap ton of oxalate into your body, which is actually stealing the calcium from you. And then you're excreting it out. Or worse yet, you're eating enough to give yourself kidney stones, which are terrible. I've fortunately never had the terrible experience of having a kidney stone. I hope I never do, and I hope you never do either. Just don't eat oxalates, bro. Like, that's just one example. Plants have many, like phytates, tannins, freaking lectins. There's so many different examples, and they steal nutrients from you. So if you don't eat these things, if you don't eat the vegetables that contain these things, which is all vegetables, by the way, it's just some have less than others, some have different variations than others. If you don't eat these things, then you really don't need to consume as much, say, magnesium or whatever, to actually be okay. Plus, if you did want to get, kind of crazy on the carnivore side, you can just eat organs. I personally don't have organs that often. I think the last time I had an organ was like sometime last year, like 5 months ago. It was a really long time ago. Like, I don't eat organs, and I'm perfectly fine with how I am. And I personally don't suggest eating liver. It's just kind of gross, bro. I'm not gonna lie. But stuff like organ meats, if you're down for that. Stuff like heart, maybe. I really like the heart, actually. Last time I had it, it was really good. But those sorts of meats have way more certain minerals in them. If you're super concerned about it on a carnivore diet, you can just have some of those, and those are literally like multivitamins. Like, they'll just boost you straight up, and they don't have any of the anti-nutrients in them. Kind of going back to the original point, you don't need as much going into your system in terms of magnesium, because you aren't stripping yourself of it by eating these anti-nutrient plants. Plus, in the plants themselves, you can't really digest the plant. You can't really absorb the, say, magnesium or whatever, like the calcium or the iron. Like, you can't absorb these minerals from the plants themselves very well. Like, plants, for the most part, a lot of them are really like fibrous. They're really just things you cannot digest. Like, we do not have the enzyme cellulase in our digestive tract to break down fiber. Like, fiber is also called cellulose, and we need an enzyme cellulase to break it down. But we don't have that. Like, we literally don't have the machinery to break it down, which is kind of another point for the evolutionary argument. Like, our digestive tracts literally aren't built for digesting plants or fiber. You know, our digestive tracts are really, really short, more likened to a lion rather than a gorilla even. Because gorillas have this super, super long cecum to where they can pack in fiber and ferment it. And it's kind of the same thing with like horses and stuff. They will eat a bunch of fiber, it'll break down slowly, and the bacteria in their gut will give them saturated fat for energy, and as the bacteria die, they'll end up absorbing that as protein. And that kind of brings me on to the kind of the secondary point of this, where you get everything you need and absolutely nothing that you don't from this diet of eating just meat and eggs. And yes, that means that carbs are not fucking essential, okay? Carbohydrates are not only not essential, but they're also toxic to your fucking body. Here's the thing. If you ask a diabetic who is kind of aware of their condition, if you ask them, is a lot of blood sugar good for you? No! Because what happens if you have diabetes? It's kind of like a misregulation of your blood sugar. It means your blood sugar gets too high. You have hyperglycemia. If your blood sugar gets too high, it starts just binding to random shit. And this starts breaking it down, causing inflammation, destroying it. And this is how diabetics can go blind. They can get amputated limbs because their body is just being destroyed by the blood sugar, literally from the inside out. So there's that, okay? Carbs at a certain dose beyond what your body is regulated for, what your body's regulating for, you will kind of die if you have too much in your blood sugar, or too much blood sugar in your body. You will kind of die. Just, it's not super duper fast. It takes a little bit of time. It's not an instant poison like arsenic or like cyanide. Like, it's just not instantaneous. But here's the thing. Carbs are not essential. You make them on your own, okay? You make blood sugar on its own. And even though blood sugar at a certain dose is toxic, your body makes just a very, very small amount. I think the stat that I heard was that your liver makes 2.5 milligrams of carbohydrate, like per hour. It makes it around like 50-ish grams per day or so. I could be wrong on that calculation. But it doesn't make a lot throughout the entire day, and you're kind of using it relatively consistent. Like, you don't have a ton in your bloodstream all at once. It's very, very finely regulated. And your body only needs glucose in a certain few places. Like, the rest of your body, besides a few certain places like your kidneys, your pain, it's a few specific cells, like 1/3 of your brain, a few cells in your kidneys, and a few cells in your pancreas are really kind of the main drivers of what actually needs glucose. So your body doesn't need to produce that much. It doesn't need that much in the body. Oh, but your liver makes carbohydrate, so I guess that seems pretty essential to me. No, dumbass. That's the entire reason why it's not fucking essential, because your body makes it. Okay, if it was essential, you would need to consume it. Also, guess what happens? Your body makes fucking cyanide. That doesn't mean that you should go about eating cyanide now, does it? No, because your body has it in a finely regulated system. Okay, that's the entire reason why it makes it in the doses that it does. If you needed to consume it, you would die without it. Okay? That's the baseline. You do not need to eat carbohydrates. They are toxic. They are not only toxic, they are also addictive. Okay? You do not need to eat carbohydrates. They are not good for you. They may taste great. I will admit that. They taste awesome. Like pizza, popcorn, freaking, sugary candies, fruit, all that stuff. It tastes good. I will be completely honest with you. But that doesn't mean that it's great for us, because spiking your blood sugar, increasing your insulin, it damages your body. Now, some people can handle that for a little bit, but if you keep over and over and over and over again, and you are addicted to this stuff, you are going to damage your body and live not as long as you could have, because you're just damaging your body, and your body has to repair that damage. Now, you can live a perfectly fine life with eating carbs, but I just don't believe that you're going to be the healthiest that you could be. And that's why I don't eat carbs. Slow poison is still poison. And this is the same thing with the plant toxins that I was talking about earlier. You know, some people will say, "Oh, but the plants they're doing a great job of killing us." Yeah, so who cares? Here's the thing. Slow poison is still being poisoned, right? The people back in the day, I believe it's like the 1950s or whatever, back in the day whenever they still had lead in the gasoline and lead in the paint, they weren't dropping dead left and right. They were living less long lives, they were living less healthier lives, and they were getting stupider. Why? Oh, but the lead isn't killing them right away, so who cares? It's hurting them. It's making their life worse. So it's the same thing. Okay, it's just not as obvious because there's just so much propaganda saying, "Oh, but plants are so good for you. Eat the rainbow." Like, what the fuck nutrient is red? Like, what nutrient is purple? Right? Is that like, how is purple an essential nutrient? It's not. It's fucking not. Okay, so that's my little rant on that. If you eat just meat, you're getting the most nutrient-dense foods that you could possibly ever eat on the planet, and absolutely nothing else. No bullshit, no nonsense. The third and final point that I want to make here the third and final point whenever it comes to why I switched to a ketogenic carnivore diet is really that it just made life easier. It made prep easy. It's just hella easy to do, in my opinion. Now, some people say, "Oh, but eliminating full food groups, that's really strict. That's bad. That's bad diet advice." I disagree. Here's the thing. If you remove things that are making your life worse, is that really strict, or is that just making your life better? Like, imagine the norm for people nowadays. And this is kind of a radical suggestion. Imagine a lot of people were having drugs, which they are, just in a different sense because it's deemed normal, right? Imagine everyone around you was having a variety of drugs, right? Like meth, crack, all the good stuff, right? Good stuff. Not really. And you decided, I'm going to remove all these drugs, and I'm only going to do what's right for me. Like, the only thing I'm going to drink is water. I'm not going to drink any alcohol. I'm not going to take any weird meth. I'm not going to do any of that stuff anymore. And these people around you, because they are on drugs, they're saying, "Oh, that's really strict. Like, you should have some fun in your life." What are you going to say? Are you right or are you wrong for removing the things that were harming you from your life? It makes your life better to remove stuff like alcohol, for example, right? Or, meth, right? Like, removing hard drugs and stuff that's going to diminish the amount of time that you live and really kind of diminish the experience that you have outside of being like high on the drug or whatever. Your life is going to be better outside of that. But because it's normal for a lot of people to be on this drug, right? Carbs, or just eating plants and stuff, like, they're going to say, "Oh, that's too strict. Oh, that's bad for you." But if you remove it and your life is better, how is that strict in any way possible? And that's just kind of a little bit of my reasoning. But beyond that, I just find it's actually liberating because it makes the food choices so much easier. I don't have to think about what I'm going to cook. I don't have to think about, oh, what should I eat today? I don't have to think about, am I going to hit my protein? Like, I don't have to worry about any of that. It's going to happen because I'm eating meat and eggs. And then I can worry about everything else. I can worry about how I want my life to go. And I don't have to worry really that much about how I cook or what to prepare, what specific spices to put on my food, because I just eat meat and that's it. I just, like, 99.9% of the food that you eat on Carnivore can be prepped in a frying pan or a slow cooker. I cross my heart, hope to die, bro. Like, that is all you need. A frying pan and a slow cooker. That's like for basically everything. That's all you need. And maybe a little bit of salt if you want. But even then, like, I don't even salt my food that much anymore because I just, like, there's just really no need to. And I find it super easy. You crack in some eggs into the pan. That's your meal. Easy. Okay, or you throw in like a steak, or maybe you put in a roast into the slow cooker for a couple hours. You go work out, you come home, and it's right there for you. Easy. It's so easy to cook. It's so easy to prep, to think about this stuff, because I don't have to think about, oh, what's this meal combination or whatever. Like I literally just, it's just meat, right? And obviously you have to put a little bit of forethought in terms of like the protein to fat ratio to make sure you're getting enough fat in, or those sorts of things. But that's very minor as compared to the specific, recipes or whatever. And I have to follow this step and that step. I think it's a lot easier in my opinion. Beyond that, shopping is super easy because you can buy in bulk. If you're down for it, you can literally just buy like a whole cow, throw it in your freezer, and then you don't need to go to the store for like another year if you're kind of thugging out solo. Like you just need a freezer to store the cow. But even then, if you can't do that, just buy like big roast and just chop them up. Like I found that to be the easiest thing. What I'll do is I'll literally buy like this big pork loin and then just chop it up into pork chops and portion it out, kind of freeze some, keep some out for later, cook, and then just cook them out, get them out, defrost them, just kind of have that system. It's a really easy system. I think you might just overthink it. Here's a big point in terms of shopping as well. The nutrient to cost ratio is super cheap. Okay, even for stuff like beef. Okay, now I'm not saying that it's 100% great on stuff like ribeye and stuff, because that's super expensive, at least in my world anyways. If you're a rich billionaire, my word, then you're perfectly fine. But in terms of nutrient to cost ratio, meat is the most efficient thing. If you want to get the most bang for your buck, buy meat or eggs, because that gives you all the nutrients you need, almost all the protein that you could possibly ever want, and it gives you all the energy you need through the fat. And there's no BS, no nonsense. Like, compare a pound of ground beef where you can get for like $5 most of the time. Like the 80-20 is around $5 or so. You can get that for $5, a pound of nutrient-dense ground beef, or you can get a box of fucking Cheerios. Which one do you choose? It's a simple choice, because the Cheerios are full of fucking nonsense that isn't going to help you get healthier. The beef is, and they're basically the same cost. Okay? So have the beef. Buy the beef. That's really, like, I'm not sure really how else to describe that. Like, even the vegetables, they're super expensive. Like, vegetables nowadays are not that nutrient dense. Like again, with the anti-nutrients, like, you cannot access that stuff. And they're actually compare spinach, again, or like cabbage or whatever, to a steak. Like, the cost ratio to the amount of nutrition that you actually get is just fucking destroyed. Like, the spinach and the cabbage gets destroyed by the beef, by almost any meat really, besides like maybe like boneless, skinless chicken breast. But even that, I mean, you at least have protein in there. You don't have that with the cabbage. So that's kind of the reason why it's hella easy. It's really affordable. It's simple. I mean, you're literally just eating meat and eggs. It's so simple. It doesn't really get that boring. I mean, if it is for you, you can kind of vary it up a little bit. Just prepare stuff in a different way. Maybe try different varieties of meat. But beyond that, it's really utilitarian and it's really cost effective. It's just easy to prep. I find that this is the easiest food prep that I've ever done. And I have tried the whole, bodybuilder chicken and rice. Like, I remember I used to think that chicken, rice, and broccoli was the pinnacle of human nutrition, which is not the case. So, yeah, and that took way longer to prep. It was just hard. Like, cooking rice is just difficult, bro. I'm not gonna lie. That's why I quit eating rice. It's just too hard to cook. Not really, but you know what I mean. So I hope that you found this video educational and helpful in your journey on to eating a better diet. I know that if I discovered this earlier and just gave it a shot, I would have, just gotten through the process a lot easier. Because I found this diet and I was thinking about it for a while, and then I tried it for a little bit and then I stopped. I didn't really give it the full try. So if you do try it, give it a full 30 days. No nonsense. Just give it a full send effort for 30 days and see how you feel. Again, if you want a 30-day roadmap on just like the step-by-step autistic details and some motivation and just kind of a map to avoid the common pitfalls that I fell into personally, then I made a course for that down in the description. If you made it this far, you should really check that out if you're interested. Yeah, that's all I got for you. I want to thank you for watching. Do all the YouTube stuff as well. Subscribe, share, that stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Go eat some meat.